Welcome everyone to the Immergence Show, the place where we deconstruct the biggest ideas in brand storytelling, creative technology, and emerging media. Today we're going deep into the producer playbook for the immersive world, and you are in it for a masterclass. Our guest, Celeste Lear, is the definition of a creative technologist. She's a master event producer, a sound engineer, a music director, and the founder of BoutiqueXR. Having delivered high stakes, high fidelity immersive experiences for clients like the United Nations and Cisco, we're going to trace her fascinating journey, pull apart the XR tech stack, and learn how to de risk the innovation for enterprise clients. This conversation is designed for the technical, the creative, the executive. So please tag a founder, an engineer, or a friend who needs to hear this. Share your questions and feedback in the comments, and let's dive into the unexpected remix that is Celeste Lear's career. Welcome to the show, Celeste. How are you?
Hi, Nico. I'm doing great this morning. Thank you. Psyched to be here.
Likewise, thank you for your time and energy. You're amazing. I've been following you, during this XR journey. You have been great music producer and DJ at these events that a lot of us have attended. But then I got to know you and I realized you have so many other great experiences as well. So I can't wait for you to share with our audience a bit more about your journey. I kind of briefly touched on it, but would love to hear where you got started and how you got into this space, and what are you working on now?
Yeah, absolutely. So it has been such an honor to have intertwined with the XR community. And I will say it was actually from my start in the music industry. I to start from the beginning. So I have always been a musician. I've played instruments from a young age. I went into sound engineering in university, and along with music theory and music business in San Francisco and Santa Cruz. And I had worked in event production as a DJ, as a music producer, since around like the 2004, 2005. And I was introduced to virtual reality in 2018 while living in the Bay Area. I have a lot of friends that are creative technologists and working with extended reality. I first got to try, my first ever VR experience was Tilt Brush, actually, and that's where you create 3D art in virtual spaces. I was so blown away. I'd never seen anything like it. I was deeply inspired. I also got to try an application called Lyra, where you produce and create music in a virtual space. And I was quickly enamored. I attended an event that was produced by Julian Rays, who a lot of our community know. That was a kind of a showcase of some of the XR app founders and producers in a nightclub in San Francisco. So it was kind of centric to the music and entertainment. And it was the first time I've also seen a avatar DJ performance in a nightclub that was broadcast from a different state. It was actually David Starfire, who produces music now for Trip. So yeah, it was just so inspirational to see that I became so deeply inspired that I switched from from a Mac to a PC. I've got my gamer PC shortly thereafter and a Oculus Rift S, and got started on my journey. So that's kind of the origin story.
Nice, very powerful. And what are you working on now?
So right now we have a couple projects in development. I had recently rebranded my company BoutiqueXR. So that's taken like a good year to do. So if anyone's been a founder, it takes some time to do that and get the website And I had been working with a number of different companies as an independent contractor, as a consultant. I've worked with Chris Crescitelli from Dreamland XR and MetaCities. He's one of my besties, and we met in virtual reality as avatars. we became best friends, and we work really well together. So, and he's been one of my mentors. So, Chris Crescitelli, I've worked on many different projects over the years with him. I've worked recently for a volumetric capture studio here in Los Angeles called 4D Fun, which was an incredible learning experience. I've always wanted to work in volumetric capture and get involved with that scene. I'm a big fan of Christina Heller from Metastage and the whole Metastage crew here in Los Angeles. So those teams, that's just been a real treat. So yeah, there's a lot going on. We have a United Nations Association project in development that I can't talk too much about, but that's also—
No worries. I just wanted to kind of touch on it. All right, let's now talk about, first let's say hi to our amazing engaged audience that are already here. Hi, Shadi, Brandon, Robin, Jean, Felipe, Kat, and Evo. Thank you, everyone. Yes, and everyone who might have not commented, please say hi. We'd love to hear from you. We're so grateful for you all to make time for our conversation. It's going to be a really fun one. And we have a lot of great videos to show you of the great work that Celeste has created over the years. So just stay with us till the end. We have a lot of great products and videos to show you. All right, so let's talk about the challenges of you as a creative coming to something a little bit. I know you also did sound engineering, so you were familiar with technicality of stuff. But were there any challenges or hurdles that you faced in terms of transitioning from music career to navigating the world of XR?
Oh, absolutely. It has been such an uphill battle. I always say that our community working in XR, we are working with the most unruly technology in the galaxy. Like it is, some of this technology has been such a hurdle at times because it has been evolving. So the teams in production that are using it and the developers that are working so diligently to make it easier to use. So yeah, all kinds of interesting problems and to solve, but I got very blessed to have been able to work with these teams of very driven, hardworking, pioneering individuals that love the technology so much they're willing to persevere and learn how to use it and master it. And since a lot of my background has been the fusion of events, music and live broadcast into these worlds, into virtual spaces, using spatial computing technology. The hurdles have been also how to use to have both physical crew and that turn into avatars and be working in virtual worlds together. So we're in two places at once, and a lot of the times we'll have to have a platform like Discord that the production team has a channel on. We have a voice channel going at the same time that we are in VR with our headsets or on our laptops. Producing these events and broadcasting into these virtual worlds and using technology like Microsoft's holoportation. So yeah, it's just leaning in with the team. It's understanding the tools, understanding the platform. If you're producing events, you have to have a thorough understanding of their user interfaces, how to log in. You have to have your ducks in a row in terms of your login. If the computer shuts or if you crash, you have to have your login ready. Everything has to be so carefully and meticulously organized. It really does take a certain type of ninja. But again, the technology is getting easier and easier to use. And so I feel like our teams have done the grunt work over the last 7 years and worked with the developers at the same time. So for example, when we were working on the Microsoft AltSpace platform, especially since we were working on these unique projects with United Nations, we had special consideration for collaborations with their developers. So we were giving them feedback, and they were so gracious to work as closely with us and take our recommendations and coach us. So I would say that this particular community, the immersive tech community, is very tight knit, and I feel like we realize how special this technology is. And most of the people I've met in these places have been truly cooperative and enthusiastic and supportive in all these endeavors that we're all taking together.
I totally agree with that. It's such a tight-knit community, and we had a few folks from XR Women. You're part of XR Women, and there are several other communities that are so powerful and so supportive of one another. Yeah. So you brought up the technical side, so let's talk about that, and then we get into other aspects of your great work. So in terms of the playbook that you have, if some company wants to do a virtual event, what do you kind of describe the possibilities and the process to them? How do you go about that? In the teaser video, we kind of touched on it, that you walk them through some of your past experiences you created. But walk us through that process. How do you guide them in terms of technical choices they need to make or you need to make for them? What are some of the platforms that you've used? And if you want to share any of your past experiences, definitely show us.
Yeah, let's do that. Actually, why don't you select the Mario Kart event? Yeah. Okay, so I want to start with this one because this was actually one of the first paid events with a corporate client. This was a product launch for Cisco. And this was during the pandemic, of course. So all the events the physical events were curtailed and we had to get creative. I spoke with the client who actually wanted a Zoom party. And I actually told them what we could do in VR using spatial computing technology. I painted a picture for them of how we could create so much beyond a Zoom event on a platform. I'm just going to reference back to the beloved Microsoft AltSpace VR platform that all of our colleagues love so much because it was so accessible and versatile. You could use it on a Mac or PC or a headset. So I had to explain to the client and also show videos to the client of how this is done and how their clients, their company can come in as avatars. We worked with Kaz and Christy, who are my all-time favorite Metaverse power couple. They are the best Unity and immersive experience designers. They're the most creative. They're the most fun to work with. I love these people above and beyond. I also worked with Artsy on this particular project. So Artsy is also a VR artist and Unity builder. And so this project ended up being the company party that the company could come into and interact and get in a Mario Kart and race around a racetrack and basically put on like a Mario Kart hat. We made it so fun. We just creatively designed it. The customer was so pleased at the end. And the other thing we did was we worked with Carlos Austin, who's also one of my favorite in-world videographers. He works with a team of videographers, and the technologies for the broadcast is vMix. So he has a vMix going on, so he can send out this very professional, polished broadcast showing in-world. We also pipe this into a Zoom call for the company member, the people from the party that couldn't come into VR, had an aversion to VR. They could still see what was going on. They could still hear the music they wanted me to DJ originally, so this was a very challenging project to pull off. But we did this project in less than a month, which is a testament to how fast our teams can move. We created the world. We got the broadcast together. I created a green screen. I went into a green screen studio in advance, and I hired a VJ to create the Mario Kart images. And is it replaying here?
Yeah.
So if you see my background here, this is also an artist, Matthew Childers, that created the Mario Kart inspired backgrounds on a green screen. So I recorded that in advance, and then we had to stream it into the world while the party was going on. There's a lot of moving parts. I would say like our team are serious tech ninjas to pull this off. But this was one of the more fun, playful examples of a virtual event. And it was a hybrid event because it was also simultaneously on a Zoom call with a couple hundred of Cisco employee members. We also, you can't really see this here, but we put pictures of the employees on the side of the racetrack. So when you're racing around in a virtual Mario Kart, you could see the employees' pictures on the side. So we tried to personalize it as much as possible. And it was Kaz and Christy are absolute wizards. So again, we loved working with them.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Well done. I mean, if any of the audience has ever done a virtual events like this, knows what it takes. It's so challenging. I've done it. I know how challenging it is, and so many things that can go wrong. So then over time, the more you experiment, then you realize I have to control this part, and then I have to take care of that part. So it's great that you already pre-recorded that DJ part. I couldn't imagine like you doing that while worrying about
I would need a full team support. And I took the executive producer position, so it was yes. There was no way I could have pulled this off without one more technical and an executive type producer on this one.
And it's so sad that this platform is no longer available. So you said you chose this because this was more accessible to everyone, right?
Yes. Yeah, I would also say the Engage platform right now is one of the most accessible, and we really like the team over there. They're incredible. They're very supportive. The platform is available on a Mac and a PC. Your phone and a headset. So we like Frame, also Frame. The XR, I'm a part of the XR Women Collective, if anyone's watching. And I'm saying anyone's watching, male or female, because we love our allies. And if you want to join, that is one of the best groups working with spatial computing and AI tech. And we have weekly meetings. We kind of hop around to different platforms, but the main ones are Frame and Engage.
Love it. Yes. Every Wednesday, 8 a.m. PST. And it's amazing. We talked about it in the past sessions, and Paige is also here from that amazing community. We love it. Awesome. And we do have different comments from our audience. Drew mentioned it's constantly evolving landscape of challenges making VR events for sure. And curious, a lot of these platforms that are more accessible, the visual quality is not fully there. And curious, what do you think, or how have you heard your clients start thinking about the quality of the assets, like choosing Unreal Engine versus Unity, and the challenges that come with that?
Well, let's see. That is going to be a work in progress. Our teams have most predominantly been Unity based because of, and I'm not a Unity artist, but we work with Unity artists. The majority of the platforms like VR Chat, Engage, Altspace, of course, they were all mostly Unity friendly. And the graphics are better from an app that you download and have to log into that can allow larger worlds, a lot more information. what's really fascinating, and we're all really closely paying attention to, is the WebXR, and it's lowering the barrier of entry. It's making it way more accessible for people to enjoy true spatial computing experiences with a headset or just on your laptop with simply a URL. And so a lot of those, from my understanding, are also Unreal Engine friendly. And the graphics, also from my understanding, are possibly not quite as crisp and clear as if it was a full app running with more power. But I think this technology is exponentially unfolding, and so we're going to see greater quality also with the next iterations of the internet 5G, and I'm assuming it's going to be 6G within the next couple years. It's pretty wild to think about. I think that AI is also going to kind of kick things in and on that path. I would love to share. The one of our Act Now videos to show also some quality graphics and design, and also a moving montage of video that was programmed into a Unity. This was a simulation of the World Expo 2020 Dubai, which of course was canceled during the pandemic. Now, I've been a part of a team, a nonprofit organization that is one of the official arts partners of United Nations, called Millennium Art, run by Mia Hannock. And we have had, our team's produced high-tech multimedia installations, mainly physical. We had physical installations. We've done video mapping experiences and interactive touchscreen computers. But we had plans, but when the pandemic happened, all of our plans were foiled. And so since I've been working with spatial computing and immersive tech, I recommended to our team that we could actually simulate the same experiences that we were planning on enacting in real life. And I showed them samples of how that would work. And we actually prepared a presentation that we gave to the head of communications at the United Nations, Mahar Nasir at the time. And we took them on a tour through the metaverse that was piped into a Zoom call so they could see a walkthrough of what it would look like. And they were really impressed. They were like really inspired. And we also, one of the reasons why we got some attention, the way we presented this is a virtualization, and also this technology can help to reduce carbon emissions by allowing more virtual activities from people's own homes. So we had our part of our presentation deck. We crunched some numbers to show how carbon emissions were reduced by staying home and doing virtual events. And of course, I would first and foremost say that it's never the same as a real physical event. It will never be the same. It will never touch, and it never should be expected to. But it's a close second. And if you surrender to VR, if you surrender to coming into these experiences, if you're a little more technologically adventurous, you can get a lot out of this. Will you actually show the, let's see, this?
Thank you for sharing. That was so beautifully done. I can say, well, what platform did you guys use for that?
Well, that was AltSpace again, because as I mentioned, we were working with the Microsoft team, and we were also helping beta test the holoportation technology. I'm going to show one more.
So let's talk about holoportation for a minute. For those who don't know about it, can you share a little bit about this technology? What's the process?
Yes. Okay. So holoportation, I just piped in a video if you want to hit play. So I worked closely with Chris Crescitelli at MetaCities as a co-producer and also a music and sound director and immersive experience designer. Chris is so awesome to work with. He's created meta cities. Okay, so meta cities, we have Meta Vegas, we have Meta Miami that we've worked with the Bit Basel team and Scarlett Arana. If anyone knows her, she's also a leader in the Web3 space. So holoportation is this unique technology that works with a green screen, and it's a special camera. This particular type of holoportation was called 2D holoportation, so it wasn't a real hologram. But if you take a look at Sky Miles, which is our Vegas office, the technology was, the camera was set up at Chris Crisatelli's studio called Starbase in Vegas, and we had a trained technician that Microsoft had to actually come in and train to use the equipment, the holoportation equipment, and it's set up on a green screen, so we could actually fit the singer and her bass player. Her name is Sky Miles, and we have this, it's broadcast into virtual spaces. So we have like a plugin. From what my understanding, it was like a plugin that was working in the Unity or on the platform of the Microsoft platform AltSpace. So we were able to basically broadcast this data. It made it look like a hologram. It made it look like a real human in a virtual space, but it was actually like, I can't explain the technicality behind it is a little tricky, but I do want to credit the absolute genius behind that. I actually have another video I'm going to import in that can show another Meta Cities concert.
Because the other concerts that have gotten famous, like,
can you hit the holoportation video, which is also a Starbase and Meta Cities again. So Starbase had a hybrid event space. They had the physical building, which you're looking at a Unity world build of the actual physical building. So during the pandemic, we had Starbase in real life, and we had Starbase in the metaverse that people could come into. So you see another sample of this, the holoportation technology, where the people are coming on and off onto this green screen, but they look like they're in a real space. So it was a really cool trick of the eye, and so fun to watch the technology behind this and be a part of it. So we would have people come in to Starbase. There's also a way, we weren't doing it necessarily, but we can have a camera set up in the physical location in the warehouse in Starbase Vegas. We could also pipe that in and put it on a wall. But the problem with that is it was so much information that it would overwhelm the space. So you kind of, when the Unity world builders have to pay attention to just how much is going on, for the processing is pretty intense to make all this happen. But there are ways to pipe in, and I've seen it done before. Also, let's see, Doug and Athena from Big Rock Creative. We were pumping in Zoom calls to some of the virtual events so people could see each other. It was like an outside looking in and inside looking out. But the holoportation, yeah, this is just a really cool example of that particular technology, which is, from my understanding, it has been discontinued. I'm not sure why Microsoft discontinued it, but
the whole holoportation, or just the AltSpace VR?
This was the 2D holoportation tech that has been shelved, at least shelved for the time being. But I think holo technology we're going to be seeing more of in the upcoming years as the technology unfolds, and also the options. I always say this is kind of what we're looking at is also like an extension of home entertainment. So instead of just sitting in front of your TV in the future, I think we're going to have like programs and movies that you can put on a headset and walk right into, and it's going to be more immersive. And for the people that are willing to do that, to put on the headsets and do that. I have to say, like, my partner was here with me last night, and we both had our headsets on the couch, and we go to the XR Social Club, which is every Monday night, and it's almost like a date night, which is kind of silly and very nerdy, but we both hang out as avatars, but we're sitting down next to each other right on the couch.
Oh, it's a different experience for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of this great work. And to our amazing audience, if you want to ask any questions or have any comments, please let us know. Kat was supporting the explanation of holoportation. She was interested in that. And Paige mentioned it sounds like a Microsoft Azure. So let's talk about another great technology that you use. I watched a video that you did with BoutiqueXR, emulating the professional DJ hardware in VR. I can only imagine how challenging that could be. So I would love you to show to our audience and walk us through it.
Yeah, so the BoutiqueXR team, I actually met Ozan, one of the founders, in San Francisco. He was working at Pixar, actually, and I was, my husband at the time was a Pixar employee, and so I got to know some of those people, and they introduced, I learned about Tribe through also Julian Ray's at the Great Northern Nightclub when they did a presentation. I'm actually going to bring another video in to present so people can get a visual reference of what this all looked like. So let me get this up. There it is. Okay, so this was also a live, this was for Beatport, which if anyone is in the music or DJ world, this is like the go-to DJ music download site. So they sponsored this particular event. I was a guest DJ. So Tribe also worked closely with Pioneer DJ, which is the industry standard. It's the world leader for DJ hardware. So they make the turntables and mixers, the best made gear. I will speak the praises of Pioneer to the day I die because they make the best equipment ever. You can even spill rosé all over it and it keeps going. It's amazing. Anyway, but now we have this VR platform. I'm so proud of the team that did this Tribe because they worked tirelessly and they're still working to make this happen. And this is also great training for people that want to learn how to DJ that might not have the $8,000 to drop on all this shiny new equipment. So you can get the program on the application and run it on a headset, come in and basically learn how the real world hardware works. And you just use your hands to tweak the knobs and pull the volume. You load in music through your headset, or you can have an account with Beatport and get access to license their music. So it's also multi-room. You can have your friends come in and spin with you. So it's pretty fun to get in there and get creative, and you can talk to people. You also, as you can see, we have some fun green screen backgrounds here. And yeah, it was in here. I'll show you.
You had another video where you were showing you were DJing live, but also your physical experience. That one was quite interesting. But yeah, if you want to share with us, is it more challenging when you are DJing in the metaverse in this way? Because you kind of have to figure out where the buttons are. And
well, yes, it's fun to be in a studio with a headset on and try not to bump into the wall. I also DJ in real life with a webcam and do some unique broadcasts. So having a clear checklist that including like making sure that your headset's plugged in. You have to be incredibly organized and versatile to pull all this off. Trying to see if I have some samples here of other videos with the performance.
Brian mentioned the nausea thing for VR. Yes, unfortunately, they haven't tested these hardware on everyone, and this is definitely work in progress. But I think different headsets have different effect, so you may want to try different ones. Cool.
The headsets. Here's the cool. This is an XR women event. The nausea thing, yeah, it is. I was even a little nauseous last night. So with the thing with VR, it's fun. It's like being in a video game. If anyone was gamers, I was a gamer when I was in my adolescence. Like I was addicted to Nintendo and Sega when I was 10, 11, and 12, maybe like into around 13. It's kind of like it's such a formative time. So I was really pleasantly surprised when I went into VR and how it was like reminiscent of my days of gaming, and creating these fun gamified experiences has also been almost like getting in touch with your inner child. It's pretty cool. Wait, give me a second to.
And Paige mentioned that it's so cool. Celeste inspired me to download BoutiqueXR, and everyone in a while, I love hopping in and doing a DJ school.
Yeah,
amazing. Yes,
it's incredible. I would say on that same nauseousness topic that I tell people, it's astronaut training. It's astronaut training.
Good way to look at it.
You have to kind of like persevere. This is a nightclub that I built, actually. So this was a space. We were using it during the pandemic. The REA Awards were held in here. Actually, I ended up licensing this world. They had a little budget, so I ended up making money with this world. Not a lot, but I also made this nightclub a vertical art gallery, and I put some of my favorite art up in the sky and gave people flight privileges so they could come in, fly around, listen to music, socialize, and also view some really phenomenal art. And this was the women event.
I was going to say, this is the beauty of XR. You can do things that are not possible in the real world. So why not using these features? Really cool.
Yeah, I was so blown away when I started learning about this. I just kept that the term was the next level tools for creation. And I campaigned to my DJ agencies and I told them about this technology. I sent videos and pictures. I sent it to event producers that I knew and said, hey, you guys, I'm producing events in the metaverse with teams, and I want to show you what this looks like, and I want to show you how this can be an extension to event offerings that you give your clients. Like, say your clients want to have a party, we can have headsets even sent out. There are methods to have, there's actually companies that will send headsets fresh, clean, to people that want to be involved, to have like a group experience. I pitched this as like corporate bonding, like we could create these experiences. I pitched it as reunions, like say, this was pretty wild, but like say you were in a frat house in college, our team could actually redesign the frat house with pictures or like it's a camera. I'm forgetting the name of like a special 3D camera, and go recreate the house and throw a frat party 30 years later with all your friends. There's just so many fun ideas. That's why I also like the sky's the limit with coming up with different scenarios that you could bring people into.
Beautiful. Amazing. So I'm curious, has there been, I mean, I'm sure there has been challenges, but what was kind of like a specific moment that was very challenging, something very unexpected happened or went wrong, and how did you handle that? What were some of the key takeaways of that?
Oh my gosh, my head swims when I hear a question like that. I would say I've had issues where the cable has come undone to a headset. I run a Mac and a PC for some of these events. So any numbers of Murphy's Law effects can come into play. When we were working with the UN, we had very strict protocol that we had to stick to. We worked with, let's see, Doug and Athena at Big Rock Creative for the avatar staffing. So working with their teams and onboarding everyone and getting the training proper. So when people are entering an official UN event, there's a certain protocol you greet them. We wanted to make it as fun and accessible and easy as possible. Luckily, those events that we produced at the time, they went off fairly well. We had fewer technical issues. I'm trying to think of where it's kind of miraculous that we've pulled off what we have in the past, considering the technology. Like, our teams are absolute wizards, that we've been able to pull off as much as we can. I'm trying to think of certain.
In general, like, have there been any takeaways from that? Obviously, the team seems to be the number one priority for anyone who wants to do this. What type of expertise you would look for in your team when you want to build an event from scratch?
Yes, well, enthusiasm is a big one to start. People that have obviously shown a passion for learning about this technology, exploring the different platforms, having a general understanding of how it all works. And basically, I'm really impressed with people that have also documented their work and shown their experiences in a very professional way. So that's something I look for. I guess since our community, we have a team that I've worked with for years, so we've kind of become our go-to. But for anyone that's doing this, yeah, just make sure that everyone has a solid track record with events, is well organized. As I told you, I have a checklist here of different tasks that have to happen, and a plan B for when things do go wrong, how to get back logged in quickly if the platform crashes or the app crashes. Yeah, so someone that's ninja-like in their organizational skills is really essential, I would say.
Awesome.
I would love to share, also, I'd love to share, if we have time, the CES video by DreamlandXR. So anyone that knows Chris Attilli and Finn from Chicken Waffle, this was a collaboration that was done during the pandemic. So CES was canceled, and our team was given permission to produce CES for the first time ever as a fully immersive virtual reality conference. And this was the first conference that I was part of the production team on. And so I saw firsthand how this is all done, how the technology works, how the crew works together, how the onboarding goes. And I was assisting with that. I was also designated DJ wrangler, which is not as easy as it might sound. DJs are tricky to work with. And so I was helping to get the DJs oriented and make sure that they knew how to come into VR during their set so they could perform at these little virtual turntables in the lobby. Here, I'll snap back to show you where that was.
It looks more fun than the real CES.
Well, I would say, again, it's never as good as the real thing, but it's a fun close second. It's gamified. And I will also say, since I've been vocal around sustainability in the XR industry and how to convey this to the general public that usually don't link together VR or XR or AR with sustainability, and that this whole concept of virtualization, which is controversial, actually, because it's still using, these processors are still using energy. But I have been doing research on this the last couple years, and even started a white paper around VR and XR technology around sustainability. And there is definitely quite a lot to be said about how this kind of technology and virtualization actually does reduce carbon emissions and can. And this conference is a good example. I had my ex-husband, who is like a physicist, a mathematician, crunch the numbers, and it was the carbon emissions that were saved by hosting an event virtually it was substantial. It was substantial. We also, it was like 30 or 40,000 plastic water bottles were saved by hosting virtually. A virtual trade booth, for example, one of our sponsors was, oh man, what's her name? She's awesome. Oh, Cleanbox, by the way. Amy at Cleanbox is one of my favorite people. I love her vision. Her company is incredible. Everyone check out Cleanbox. We had a virtual trade booth for them that the people walking by could click on a link, open a link on a URL right from inside the platform. So that was pretty fun. But this event is a great example of spatial computing technology is used for virtual, live, and even hybrid events. So in the future, CES might opt to expand and hire our team again to produce the virtual spatial component of the conference. For people that might not be able to travel. There's so many different reasons that this is also accessible to the handicap, to people that are maybe sensitive to a lot of energy or shy, even offering virtual substitutes is an interesting and potentially lucrative way to expand your events, ticket sales. We had the band The Cheat Codes come in for the after party and do an avatar performance live from Los Angeles. And we piped in the audio in real time and broadcast for the after party. And again, the producers were Dreamland XR, Chris Crosatelli, and Finn at Chicken Waffle for that particular virtual event.
I was thinking you should pitch to Billie Eilish. She is big in environmental sustainability, and with her concerts, why not doing it in the metaverse? So curious how things have shifted for you. There was a lot of hype around metaverse and XR, and then now it's less. Has it impacted the work that you have had? And what are you excited about right now? What do you think is the hot thing right now?
Yes, it has impacted the work, and it is still experimental. I think that the term like metaverse and NFT, it gets trendy, and then somehow it gets like a bad rap. But the thing is, the technology is absolutely still here. A lot of us in the industry have branded it to spatial computing technology, which is still very applicable and a good term to be using for people to help to understand it better and sell the concept better. I think that anyone that's interested in pursuing careers and going down this path, it's not a ton of work right now, at least that I'm finding. Things are a little slow, I will definitely admit right now. But what these videos prove and what our teams are working to advance is the possibilities for using this technology as well as we can in getting these demos and samples out to the world. So anyone here that's watching, it's just, you got to keep posting this, you've got to keep pitching, you have to keep educating the clients on how this all works with the WebXR and the advancements of spatial computing being as simple as clicking and entering a username. It's making it a lot more easy and user friendly. And I think being able to offer to your clients for events and concerts that you can have these spin-offs or additions, these hybrid event additions to already physical events. It's a fun way to increase ticket sales, get more people involved, have marketing. I know, let's see, Engage offers recordings of events that are virtual so that people can go back into a virtual event and witness it 3D after the event happens. There's a way to archive those events. So giving your clients cool tours and helping them to understand how this technology works and how it can apply to them and their companies and for branding. Gamification is a big one. So if anyone here is listening has done any projects around gamification, we also use augmented reality for the gamification. And AR is not my main area, but I have worked on a couple of AR projects, including a United Nations installation for the World Food Program and helping to educate people coming into the UN New York headquarters on how the World Food Program and the UN use technology to help feed refugees and displaced people, millions of them around the world. That was a great learning experience for me. But we did have a project where people could hold up these tablets at a kiosk in the lobby and see a 3D refugee camp and get data visualizations around how people are fed, where the money comes from, what kind of global cooperation that it takes to feed millions of people. So they say that VR is the empathy machine, and this immersive technology helps to educate and inspire people. And I am a firm believer that is the truth. By the way, these UN projects, I'm just going to mention that I've worked with Millennium Art, and the nonprofit is called Human Ecology. And Mia Hannock is a visionary leader. She is very concerned about the state of the planet and working very hard with all this projects and technology to advance the education around the sustainable development goals. And that's a big drive for me also, because a lot of these projects we haven't gotten paid very well for. It's been labor of love. And positioning ourselves so when moving into the future that we can be the go-to community and leaders and producers using this tech. Yeah.
Thank you. And Casey mentioned, I found these are amazing for prior to the event and post-event to drive ticket sales, merch, get to know the vendors or the artists. I mean, even for networking, right? A lot of times we go to a physical event and there are so many people who you want to meet. But in virtual, at least you can maybe look them up quickly or we kind of get mix and match, and that would be a good one. So hopefully we will see more of that, maybe for big events like CES, that people come from all over the world.
Yeah,
it's a missed opportunity if you don't tap into it.
I want to make a recommendation to anyone here that loves to give themselves a code name or a nickname on your avatar. Maybe not the best idea for business functions, because it would be great to be able to snap back and see who you really are, to be able to look up your name. But some of the platforms, if they're well thought out, I do consultation for developers that have VR projects, and to help to make sure that the user experience is very comfortable and intuitive, and that the user interface is set up with something like that, so you can program. If you do want to have your little pet name, which is fun, sometimes I'm Celestial, but I'm usually DJ Celeste or Celeste Lear, that people can reference and click your avatar or click the name over your avatar to get the full information that you want to share. So that's something that developers should absolutely be thinking about, is to make it as easy and clickable and user-friendly as possible for a user interface on these platforms.
Very good advice. And Kat is asking, can you list all of your favorite, most effective AR-specific tools? I know you said you worked less with AR, but anything you want to share?
That's something I am not as familiar with. The couple AR projects that I've come in on more as like a co-producer, or I did music and sound direction on a couple of these projects. So that's an area that I'm not as equipped to talk about or be an expert on. But I will say that we've worked recently with Rob McCarthy at Celeste Space, and are big fans of their work. And we're in a business development with a project with them right now that we're really excited about.
Amazing. So maybe after the call, you can share their handles in the chat so people can get connected. And I know Ian Harrison, our amazing supporter of the show, is in the augmented reality space as well. So if anyone has more question about AR, I know Brian, Kat, you mentioned both about AR. So please reach out to Ian Harrison. He should be with us right now as well. Awesome. Thank you for that. Another quick question, Felipe, on the back end, what's Celeste's preference for dynamic spatial audio rendering? Is she leveraging native engine functions like Unreal's meta sounds, or is she primarily relying on third-party middleware and custom scripting for complex multi-user interactions?
So yeah, that's heavy on the tech factor, Felipe. So I'm typically working with Unreal Engine artists or with the Unity artists that are handling those details. I'm more of the producer and also immersive experience designer. So I'm coming in a little bit more like in that area, but the spatial audio, of course, is built into these platforms that we're working in and moving around on. And so for anyone that is here and curious, also that's the physics of the real world, of reality, are emulated in VR. And so we do have spatial sound. Which, a side note, I'm deaf in one ear from a car accident. And so the spatial sound is still tricky. Like I have a hard time in real life because I have 90% hearing loss in my right ear. So going into VR, I was actually hoping it might be mono in there so I could hear everyone well. It's still tricky. So yeah, sound is in stereo. And from my understanding too, I think that Dolby.io is doing some tests right now around ambisonic or true 3D spatial sound in spatial computing environments. So that's going to be really interesting to see how they pull that off. And I actually got to go down to Dolby Atmos studios in San Francisco and meet some of the Atmos engineers and get a demo of Atmos, which is absolutely mind blowing at the time, which was in beta, that I got to test out and try for certain sound systems at nightclubs around town are equipped with a Dolby Atmos system, but you can only mix music and like a DJ set if it's mixed truly to Atmos. So they had a whole catalog of big time artists like deadmau5 whose music had been mixed to Atmos and optimized to be performed in these clubs. And the DJ's mixer included ambisonic sound speaker configurations throughout the nightclub that had a matrix of speakers set up. Is absolutely mind-blowing. I will geek out on that with you any day of the week, Philippe.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the great answer. So as we're approaching towards the end of the show, I would love to hear kind of like your prediction. What's the boldest prediction that you have in the intersection of entertainment and XR for the next 18 months?
Absolutely. So I think that more and more people are going to start picking up headsets as the price point comes down. And a lot of younger people, I would say they're more used to having and being surrounded by digital world and virtualization. So I think that the younger generations that are going to be coming in and trying out this tech and merging it a little bit more with the home entertainment options is what that people are going to want more gamified experiences, which are just fun. They're just fun to do if they're creatively well done and not overly branded. I think that also some of the predictions, and everyone's really saying this, is that the advancement of AR glasses technology and how rapidly that is coming down the pipeline. Let's see, that we're seeing that AR glasses sync with or augment smartphones, and the phone still sits in your pocket, but the glasses become the new interface. So notifications and overlays and hands-free interactions. I think we're going to be starting to see more of that. And to be quite honest, like, I am kind of tired of dragging this thing around. If I have a way to just have a quick glasses on that I can be using to help me navigate through this wild world, that would be very helpful. I know that analysts say that AR wearables could gradually take over a lot of the roles of phones currently fill. And then Snap is planning on launching new AR glasses in 2026. And then the Orion, of course, the Meta Orion, we're all watching and waiting, but I think those are going to be still a few years away.
Beautiful. Thank you. And what's the most exciting project on the horizon for you and BoutiqueXR? Anything you want to share with us?
Well, let's see. We have a different United Nations Association project that we are incubating right now. We're in development and in meetings with the United Associations, the Southern California chapter, and the University of Irvine on. So this is also around the Sustainable Development Goals, so a very noble cause. It's also around democratizing data and making sure that we have valid, real-world, scientifically verified sources of data that people can learn about emissions and pollution in their own neighborhoods and understand it and take action.
Love this. I love that every one of you guys from XR Women have such a social good purpose in all the work that you're doing. So really powerful stuff. Thank you so much for sharing. And where can people find you and support you beyond LinkedIn? How can people connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm at Celeste Lear on my socials, and BoutiqueXR.io is my website, and I'll put those links up in the comments after we sign off, Nico. But yeah, BoutiqueXR is my company. For anyone that's interested, I also have a lot of music under the name DJ Celeste Lear. I have lots of different songs that I've released, and I have like remixes and mashups and fun stuff from when I was doing more music production. Yeah, so I'm always happy to share. And you can hit me up on LinkedIn too.
Beautiful. Yes, definitely check out Celeste on Spotify. I listened to some of her beautiful songs, beautifully done. Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Celeste, for your time, for your insights and energy. I want to thank our amazing audience, Kat, Juliana, Brian, Felipe, Paige, and Ian, Casey, Chris, and everyone else who joined us, Drew, Evo. We're so grateful. Robin, Jean. Thank you for your time, everyone. If you came in late, check out the recording. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with another great episode on the XR space. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Cheers. Thanks, Nico.